Life TV. So today Sue and I are going to talk about take an action and let the universe handle the how. So this is a very important topic to have effortless manifestation. So here is our experience and I want to share. I'm going to show my clip and Sue's clip. Here we go.
So I understand universe, our spiritual team, galactic team, make things happen. That's 100%. But when you are in the moment, you question how much action should you take? Should I take? So I'm experiencing that I got download um, from my team to write a book. The title is called Passion Principle. They gave me all subtitle of the chapter, so that is given to me. But I haven't really inspired to write a book. I'm not in the flow state of, oh, I want to write a book right now. So I haven't written even a single word. And my understanding of when to take an action is when you get inspiration. And I feel like when we force ourselves to do something which is not enjoyable, keys enjoyable, then that's forced action. And I don't really think that's the direction from your heart or direction from your higher self.
Hi guys, Sue Beckley here from Quantum Explorations. I'm writing a book, my second book. It's called Quantum Explorations. I don't know what the subtitle is yet, but it's channeled information. It's information that I've received from quantum healing sessions, and it's just stuff that's really helped me in my life, and I figured I'd put it in book form and send it out there. Maybe it'll help somebody else. Anyway, last night I was watching a video, some channeled information that a person was presenting, and I thought, why am I writing this book? I mean, everybody knows this stuff already. I thought I'm just being repetitive. Well, what if not everybody does know this stuff already, and what if someone could take my work and expand on it, or I take somebody else's work? The information is coming in the general collective consciousness, so apparently it's important, and the more people that speak about it, the more real it becomes in our reality. So the bottom line is, if you're being inspired towards something and you can't see how that something, to take an action, to do something, to create something, and you can't see how that result, what the result will be of the action, it's okay. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. Write the book, make the video, write the song, whatever it is, because we have to trust the universe will bring us whatever result is intended by our inspiration for that action. So, but it's not going to happen on its own. I mean, if I just sit around and think about these thoughts, and instead of putting them into a book form and sending it out for whomever could benefit to watch or read, it's just going to stay in my consciousness, right? If your creativity is just in your mind or in the privacy of your own home, then how are people going to be inspired by your creativity, whatever it is you're making? Just do it. Go for it. Do it. Take the steps. You got this. Okay, bye.
Okay, so we wanted to talk about this topic because, those of you might have experienced forcing yourself to make stuff happen, forcing yourself to manifest something. And this way of life is not great way to manifest. There's a way to manifest a lot easier with the corporation of the universe. So we wanted to talk about this because we've been going through this, and then it's a good idea for us to talk about this topic with you guys.
Indeed.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts, Sue?
The inspiration that anyone receives is, I believe, our soul's guidance. And it touches our creativity and it touches, we're inspired to do something, which means we obviously have the talent or something to share in our creationship process. And we need to take action. And I think setting goals is a good thing because it gives us a vision of where we might go with something, but worrying about how it happens or in what form it's going to show up, um, or the steps along the way when we are creating, I think that's counterproductive to the energy because it's a controlling thing and it puts restrictions on our creations. There are times when even things don't make sense, why we're inspired to do things a certain way or work with certain people. That's okay. I think trusting that the inspiration came for a reason, and if we go ahead and move in the step in the direction of that inspiration, that there's going to be something good that's happening.
Yeah, passion is your compass to direct you to the direction you want to go, because passion is related to your higher self. Higher self is sending the sign through your passion. So let's say when you are artist, right? You're passionate about making your living as being an artist, and then you have no idea how to do it. How? Because right now, obviously, you are not making money as an artist, and then I'm not a musician, so don't tell me this is not the right process. But let's say you are having some kind of a job right now, and then gathering up your money to make your music, right? In the music studio, and the producer, and you're making it, and then part of your ego is talking to you. How are you going to make a living? This is your biggest passion in your heart. And you know your music is something, not just because you feel good because you're making music, but you know people listening to your music, and then they feel inspired, and that they may get like higher vibration because they listen to your music, right? You know this innately, but instead of keep on making music because you have download, and all of a sudden you feel like, oh my god, I had to make this music, but your brain is telling you, you know what, Joe, how are you gonna make a living to be an artist? You're working at the Walmart. I'm just using that as an example. Or
It's a good example.
yeah, and then you gonna start denying yourself, like, oh yeah, that's right. How am I gonna become our biggest artist ever? Like, I'm already 28 and I'm not out there in music industry, and then I'm not selling myself by my soul. Forget about that concept. so so I'm not gonna make it, blah 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 blah. All this stuff gonna come into your head, and then that's gonna stop you walking your path. And you have a passion, that means that is your path. That
Yeah.
is undeniable path for you. Like me, my movie, that's my path. So no matter what is happening to me, what I'm doing along the way, I know I'm going toward that direction, 100% for sure. And then sometimes, you may gonna say, hey, what is this got to do with music? Let's say your friend invited you for poetry recital or something like that. or a comedy show or whatever, and then you started to become kind of like famous doing comedy show, and the part of you are saying, hey Joe, you happen to be musician, why are you like doing this comedy show? But you don't know this comedy show might be one dot will connect you to making the living as a musician.
Yeah.
What if doing comedy show, you have some kind of passion, not the biggest passion, but you still enjoy it, and you have a passion. These are connected each
Hmm.
other.
Yeah, because you never know who you're going to meet along the way when
Yeah.
you're doing these other things. And
Hmm.
there's a big word called synchronicity that comes into my mind when we talk about things along this line. And all synchronicity means is that the universe conspires with you to put in your path those people, places, things that will help you along your way. And
Yeah.
so, people may consider, oh, what a coincidence. I ran into so and so. I wasn't even supposed to be here this day. And I ran into so and so, and they're the ones who really encouraged me to do my music career, or they gave me my first break, whatever. Those are not coincidences. They're not accidents. They're
Hmm.
synchronicities. And, all we have to do is look at so many actors in Hollywood, many actors in Hollywood. I don't remember if it was Brad Pitt or who it was, but somebody was selling or in like an animal costume on the street corner representing a store for their food. I don't remember which actor it was, but I remember cracking up because I thought, yeah, I'd like to see him in the bunny suit, whatever. It was, we all do what we got to do to get to where we want to go. But the thing is, if we don't take action toward it, we're never going to have the result because we haven't put any energy into it. A universe can't give us something unless we, like you said, you can't sit around and just meditate and go, well, I'm going to manifest it. Well, okay, but that's fine to do that part of the step. That's one of the steps. We actually have to move forward and take the action. And it is scary sometimes. I think I've told you guys I was the worst. I had the worst stage fright of anybody I know. And Erica can probably tell you as a human being, when I'm just having conversations with people, I'm not particularly shy, but when if you try to ask me to go stand on stage, it's a different story. And so I'm overcoming it. What we've been doing this 2 years now, right?
Yeah.
And it's the first thing you do in any journey is you make the first step. And I was absolutely horrifically terrified when we did our first video. I can't even say how many times I probably said, or
Mhm.
I don't, God only knows what I did in that first video, but I know that I was scared out of my mind. And then we got done and I was like, well, gee, that wasn't that bad. That was fine because we were talking the way we talk when we're not on camera, and I felt comfortable, and I knew that you were somebody who had experience doing this work for some time. So really it became sort of effortless once we got going, and I enjoyed it. But if I had not had the courage to take that first step, we wouldn't be here today talking as we are again. And with 2 years of videos behind us, and all the work we've done together outside of making videos. We've done a lot. So
Yeah.
I'm really glad I made the first step.
It is. And then, let's say if I talk to my ego gonna say, hey, what this got to do with movie making? You know what? I'm making my movie or TV show to raise the consciousness of humanity. So YouTube content is the same. It's not a movie, right? It's not I'm making the stuff with hundreds of crews, which I enjoy, but I'm doing it on my own. But the core aim, the target is the same thing, the raising the consciousness through the content, right? So it's the same thing. So I'm doing the same thing with different method. And
Did you have to produce the video? Every
Yeah, yeah.
time you shoot one, you have to produce it, and I've even
Mhm.
learned how to do that myself, which I never saw myself doing, so, yeah, you're on the path. I mean, we're both making the steps, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, 2 months ago, I was doing movie premiere and doing Q&A, and then I was like, yeah, I'm here for this. Like, that's kind of like reminded me for why I'm here, living here on Earth, right?
Yeah, and you were doing the movie premiere for work that you had done years ago,
Yeah,
and the accolades and everything that goes along with it, promoting it, how cool is that? You
it
couldn't
is.
have seen that happening 2 years ago, but it happened, and it's great, and it's reminding you that this is where your passion lies, and
Yeah,
it's exciting.
it
I
is.
wanted to mention something about your video short today, which I think is super important for people to consider. You had mentioned that you got your download for your book, and you and I talked about it, and that you even have the chapters outlined that were downloaded to you. And that happened to me with the book I'm writing now.
Mhm.
Um, I just, it didn't happen all in one download for me, though. I would get on to listening to something while I was doing my other job, and I would hear in my mind, well, you could talk about this, write that down. So I was like, okay, I'll write it down. So I'd stop what I was doing and get my notebook out and I'd write it down. And then before you know it, I had 13 chapters. But I wasn't ready yet to start writing. I knew that I wasn't ready yet. And so I talked to my guides and I said, well, when do you think I might be ready? And they said, well, maybe after Christmas. I don't know, wait and see. When you're inspired, you'll do it. Okay, cool. And then it wasn't I think I did start before Christmas, but, it doesn't really matter when I started, I just did. When I felt inspired, I did, and
Mhm.
I've got a few more chapters to write. I'm not really forcing myself. I don't think it's good to force ourselves into anything, so I think what you
No.
had in your video short was really good, is that, when the inspiration comes, do take that step and act on it, and then try to find joy and pleasure in the other things that you're doing in the meantime on those stepping stones because truly you may say to yourself, oh, it's just a job at Walmart. Well, it could be many different experiences of that job at Walmart. So you could either make it a good experience or you could make it drudgery or you can go all the way to gosh, this is never going to happen for me if you formulate in your mind thoughts about that job at Walmart. Our thoughts create our reality. So if you look at Walmart and say, this is a great opportunity for me because it's helping me say, it's keeping me busy. It's helping me save the money that I need to produce my song or my video. And I enjoy working with people because, eventually somewhere down the line, that musician is going to have to know how to talk to people. So there's another
Yeah,
benefit to the Walmart job, right? Because you're practicing your people skills.
yeah.
Win-win. But if
Mhm.
you look at the Walmart job and go, "Oh, well, this is shit, and I can't believe I'm working at Walmart," well, then that's gonna be your experience. So be careful what your thoughts are along the way. Don't shit on your current experience because it's not where you wanna go. You're gonna get there, but you gotta do those in between steps first.
Yeah, like everything is connected. So like, my coaching, my courses, all this YouTube content, these are connected with movies.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna make movies about those, but connected under umbrella of raising consciousness of humanity, right? So how you gonna do it is your choice. But
Mhm.
when you start seeing the commonality between the dots, you can appreciate every single action you are doing.
Mhm.
And then now when you can see those, you can start trusting the universe. Universe is bringing opportunity to do some kind of action, right?
Mhm.
According to your readiness. And then you can receive that with joy and then see, okay, I'm receiving this opportunity now. And without any expectation. This is very important. Without any expectation, because then when you have expectation, then you will feel disappointed. Whatever the stuff universe is sending to you, and think about universe is your husband or something, and then he kind of thought, oh my god, this is a great present for Sue, and then he give it to you, and then you're like, oh, that's not what I expected. So
Yeah, that's not the color. That's not my color. Well,
you're very not thankful. Their husband not gonna bring you the gift next
I
time,
know he's
right?
not going to bother. He's going to be like, "Go buy your own," right? And I wouldn't blame him. Um,
Yeah, then that's gonna be, you have to work so hard to make it happen live,
yeah,
make
yeah.
manifestation happen on your own kind of life. But when you are not having expectation, oh my god, I'm so happy, like whatever the stuff you're receiving, of course you can always request, right? So universe can have some kind of idea like, oh, she wants this, so can get something similar to that, right? So you are not, okay, this is not what I exactly wanted, like somewhat it's resonance of what you're looking for. So
Well, I think
but
what you're talking about is that, like what we were saying before we started shooting, which is there's a difference between setting your picture for your goal.
yeah.
You have to be clear about what your goal is,
Hmm.
or as clear as possible.
It
But it's
is.
not being attached to how the universe brings it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, if you use your example, somebody, the universe gave me a present, and I went, I don't like it. I could still be grateful for it, and I could say, thank you, I like this. But if it was, I'm more interested in this. Instead of the purse, I would like a scarf. Or instead of sending me a speaking gig, I'd like to get a book deal. Um, we can keep refining and defining what we really want, what our passion is, what our heart's desire is. The more the universe sends to us and the more gratitude we send, even if it isn't 100% on the mark, we can
Yes,
still
seventy
refine it.
percent, 70% you can still feel like, okay, cool, you know. Sometimes universe send you like,
A real stinker, and you go, what the hell is this?
no, I'm saying sometimes the universe gonna, for example, like when I was trying to manifest my soulmate, like I don't know how long ago, a long time ago, like after spiritual awakening, it's very hard to remember.
I
Maybe
know.
7, 8 years ago, right? And then um, this guy was good on the paper, good looking, meeting him in the airplane. And then I had a reading, and this guy's background was very like detailistic. And then, long story short, I shouldn't be marrying this guy. So I knew all this information. So I told the universe, this is not exactly what I want. And then I don't mind being single rest of my life. No, thank you. So if sometimes the universe gonna send you this to not to test you, but I guess test you.
Well, to
Then
make sure that you're sure what you're
yeah, and
asking
then
for.
you're gonna be 100% like clear about what you want.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
in order for you to get something, universe is sending you closer to what you want. But
I want to
some,
interject real quick.
sometimes
Go
you
ahead. I'm sorry.
sometimes you don't really have any clear picture. Let's say, oh, I want to meet a soulmate. I just going to use that as an example. But you have no clear picture of what kind of person you're looking for. You just say soulmate. Well, universe can think of like at least
Well, what
20
if your
different.
soulmate's a dog? That's not
Well,
exactly what you were looking for.
I mean, universe can think of 20 different soulmates and then sending you the guy, and then you will say, oh, he's not exactly what I wanted. I'm not attracted to him. You know what I'm saying? So I have a very clear picture of my future husband, and I know I'll be with him, you know? but I'm enjoying my dating life. That's fine. But the point is, like, it's very important to have a clear picture so universe has idea. Okay, this is the closest to what she or he's looking for. Like you have to give clear message to Santa when you're looking for the Christmas gift. The same thing, but not having like expectation, like, because your request might get tomorrow or might get year from now, but meanwhile universes keep on sending the, what you gonna call it, the dots to get to the destination.
Hmm.
So it's very important to be grateful of what you're getting. And then when you are being like a detective to find out what is the commonality between this I just got to my destination, you can be more appreciative of what you're getting from the universe.
Mm.
Yeah,
There's also the possibility that when we set a goal, we have an inspiration, we set a goal, we start out with one thing in mind, and then it, excuse me, it develops over time. And sometimes we get to a point where we have manifested something, but it looks very different than what we imagined when we started. But we're grateful for it. And so I just want to say, there are times when the universe knows us better than we even know ourselves. And so
yeah.
even if something appears to be a miss, like, oh, missed the target on that one, um, maybe not. So, there's a flexibility, I think, that could be useful when trying to interpret what the universe is sending our way, because they may know something that we don't know. That person they sent our way may not be the one or the soulmate, but they may know your soulmate or introduce you
Mm-hmm.
to a group
Exactly.
or some fun activity that you enjoy doing, and there you meet your soulmate. So it can be, our goals can change over time. Or we start out with a passion and we end up doing something else that doesn't seem related, but it is, or we end up meeting because of synchronicity. We meet somebody who ends up introducing us to the actual person that's going to be in our life, or set us up with an interview, or it's there's a fluidity there, is what I think I'm saying. And the more we can define what it is we want, the better chance we have of the universe, and we're moving in step with it. We're taking the steps and we're hitting the blocks along the way. Um,
Yeah.
good, but we also have to maintain a certain level of flexibility and fluidity, I think, in the process. It's,
Hmm.
oh, it has to be next week, or it has to be next month, and it has to look exactly this way.
Yeah, exactly. Like you need to have a clear picture what you want, but open up the possibility of how it's gonna get delivered.
And what it's going to look like when it comes, because,
Hmm. Yeah,
sometimes we get better than we ask for.
or when,
Hmm.
uh, because sometimes to get to the closest destination, it may not be the straight direct route, and it sometimes doesn't make any sense. Like use the musician guy in Walmart. He may think like, why am I working at the Walmart and it's not going to give me any kind of break? And then what if the president of the music company or something like that, it happened to be like visited Walmart, and then start talking to this guy Joe, and then they kind of hit off, and he mentions, oh, hey, I make music, and he'll say, oh, send it to me.
Hmm.
That's
Exactly.
that's how universe brings stuff to you, so you never know which dot is related to what.
Yeah, we were sharing, you and I, a video of this guy who does consciousness expansion work now on YouTube, but when he was a movie producer, and do you
Oh,
remember
he's
that
a movie
story?
director.
Do you remember that story where they were going to, they decided on an actor and they were trying to contact the actor, and then he got talked into going to dinner at a place where he doesn't normally go. And he wasn't even sure he wanted to go, but he was like, "All right, if you want to go there, I'll go there." And then they met the actor there at that restaurant and were able to talk to her directly. Do you remember that story? I don't know if you got to that part yet, but I just was like, wow, I love hearing stories of synchronicity when stuff like that happens because it happens all the time. We just don't always recognize it as universal intervention.
Yeah, like people will say it's a coincidence. There is no coincidence in life. Everything is
Mm-mm.
orchestrated.
It is.
Hmm.
So I have a little bit of flexibility is the key, and I do have to tell myself that.
Yeah,
I do tend to be rigid sometimes, especially when I set a goal. I'm kind of like a dog with a bone. It's really hard to get it out of my mouth. So I've been practicing my flexibility lately, and yeah. So that's what I have to share at this point in time because that's where I'm in my process. As you notice in the video, I am writing my second book, and I'm trying to be less rigid, trying to go with the flow, not writing when I don't feel like it, but I'm writing um, when I'm inspired and when I feel passionate about a particular topic. It's like, okay, that's the one I'm writing today. I'm not even putting the chapters in order, which is like, holy crap. If you'd have told me 2 years ago I would have been writing a book and not putting the chapters in order, I would have said you were crazy. That's what I'm doing now. Because if I'm not inspired to write chapter 3, for example, today, but I'm inspired to write what I had written down as chapter 8, then I'm going to write chapter 8. What's the sense of trying to force myself into chapter 3? It doesn't make sense.
yeah, that makes sense. And I was gonna change my script into novel format, my It Girl teenage book. But that's what I was thinking about doing. And then now, like, download came and write about passion principle. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. So you can really plan your life, like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. As long as you have some kind of inspiration, those of you who are creator, it's a good idea to be open and to see what comes to you.
Mhm.
And that's going to connect you to so many people, and who knows what's going to happen as a result of that, you know. And that's how you
Exactly.
create with universe, create with a flow.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was just listening to Paul Selig talking about that. He channels the guides. I think you guys, maybe many of you know who Paul Selig is, and he lives on Maui, and
Oh,
he's
I
pretty
didn't know
popular.
he lives in Maui.
He does. So does Daniel
Oh,
Scranton.
yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but Paul was talking about what we're talking about, and so that's what reminded me of it. He said, "We don't always know why we are inspired or feel passionate about doing something at some particular point in the day." For in his example was, so I'm in the middle of producing my next. Uh, he doesn't do a podcast. He does like weekly seminars. I'm in the middle of working on my next seminar, and suddenly I want to go to the beach and take a walk. And then he goes to the beach to take a walk because he followed that inspiration, and he ends up meeting somebody that's going to work with him on his podcast. So, I mean, this kind of stuff happens all the time if we're
Hmm.
flowing. We got to flow and move towards our passion instead of, and if we're doing a job that we don't particularly love in the meantime, that's okay.
Yeah,
That's
that's
okay.
okay. Take yourself a break. We got to do something to earn the living, right? The
Hmm.
structure of 4D is still not 5D. So that's
Yeah.
okay.
We got to pay
And
the rent or we'll get kicked out.
so before we wrap up, do you have any last tip for our viewer?
Yeah, just that one thing is banging in my mind is every journey starts with the first step. Take the step, move
Good.
forward with some trust that if you do that step, it's going to lead to the next step.
Mhm. Mine is big or small doesn't matter. Follow your passion, and the passion will lead you to your destination. All right. So thank you so much for watching. Please share, like, subscribe, and we see you next week. Bye.
Bye.